Greetings, creative, fun, charismatic Leo. My name is Eliane Nicole. I'm an astrologer and tarot card reader. And now I'm going to do the January 2021 forecast for the sign of Leo. Congratulations, Leo. You made it through 2020. And Happy New Year. I'm going to start with a tarot reading. And then in the second half of the video, I'm going to talk about broad strokes for the planetary alignments. And I encourage you to follow me on Instagram at astrology.tarot.Eliane Nicole, because there I will continue the conversation that I start here in a more detailed way, as the months and the weeks unfold. But in the meantime and in between time, I encourage you to watch the video for your sun sign and your rising sign here to get the foundation. And as we enter the month of January, Leo, we see the Magician reverse. So this looks like a man who is not taking initiative right now. And he is covered by the Wheel of Fortune reverse. So that could be an unexpected twist of events, or else it could be feeling stuck in a rut, like things aren't moving forward. And, the Wheel of Fortune in general just has to do with fate and destiny and the cycles of life, And then you're crossed by the King of Swords, and this could be a man who has to make a decision, an important decision in January. And the basis is the Ace of Pentacles. So it looks like it's a financial, aces have to do, aces are the beginnings. Earth, pentacles correspond to the element of earth. So this has to do with the beginning of business idea, financial idea, or situation, not necessarily an idea. Sometimes the Ace of Pentacles has to do with a gift or an invitation or a new job offer or, money, something like that. And what's leaving is the Tower reverse. So this is like, rebuilding after a paradigm shift. And what could come into being is the Seven of Pentacles reversed. And so this has to do with making a decision, a financial or business decision, maybe that you've been weighing for a while, around mid-month. And this could also have to do with, spending money towards a future investment. And what will come into being is the Seven of Swords. What's so interesting is that there's 3 sevens in a row. You have Seven of Swords here, then the Seven of Cups, and then there's also, I thought I saw another 7. Oh, that we just had the Seven of Pentacles. So all of the sevens are here except for the Seven of Wands. So big changes, rapid succession of changes in January. And the Seven of Swords, it looks like somebody is holding some very delicate, sensitive information that could really impact or affect things around mid-month. It could be that you're holding that information or someone else is holding that information. But it's, it looks like very interesting, Leo. And fears or insecurities have to do with the future, and which maybe making a choice of which option you want to take, because it looks like there are many options and maybe you fear selecting one or picking the right one or something. Others see you, the Page of Swords. It looks like you're getting some good news around the 3rd week. Someone will be delivering a message to you via text, email, phone call, DM, but it's good news. And your positive feelings are the Empress. So it's around a woman. She may feel stunted, creatively blocked. The Empress reverse sometimes can be infertility, or sometimes it just represents more of a creative block, or not, someone is, if they're trying to get pregnant, maybe they're not getting pregnant at this time. But it's not always around pregnancy, but she can be around pregnancy. She can also just have to do with creativity in general, or she can have to do with a maternal or motherly woman who feels stuck or in a rut in some way. Anyway, Leo, you have positive feelings about this woman and towards the end of the month. And then the outcome is the Six of Swords reverse. So it looks like at the end of January, you are either returning from a trip, which is the literal interpretation of this card, but not as likely in these days of COVID. Oh God, I didn't even want to say that because I don't want my video to get sponsored. But more figuratively, I mean censored. More figuratively, it can have to do with turning around your ideas about a situation that will take you from choppy emotional terrain to much more serene emotional terrain. So that is the tarot overview for Leo for January. Now I'm going to talk about some of the planetary transits. January 6th, Mars enters Taurus. That will be entering your 10th house of career and attainment. This transit is going to be a time where you probably are feeling like a workhorse, Mars is in its detriment in Taurus, and I think that that's because Mars wants to charge forward, and Taurus is more like, no, this has to go slow. Things aren't easy to change or break through. This is the way of doing things. It's methodical, it's patient. So, that can be a frustrating placement for Mars, I think, sometimes, especially for a fire sign like Leo who just wants to get shit done, January 8th, Mercury enters Aquarius. Mercury in Aquarius will be in your 7th house of relationships and marriage. So there's going to be a lot of communication around that topic for you. For those of you who aren't married, there may be a lot of communication around that topic anyway, like what you want in a marriage. For those of you who are married, it will be with your spouse, ideas coming forth, and I think you guys are making plans, you're strategizing for the future. The great conjunction just happened in your 7th house of marriage and partnerships, and so it's kicking off a new 20-year era in that house. And so now with Mercury coming in, it's like you're talking a lot about what this is going to be. And Pallas Athena is there, so you're strategizing and seeing where all the players are on the board and trying to think 2 steps ahead. And then Saturn is there, and so it's like he's going to stick around in there for the next 2.5 years, helping you lay the foundation for the next 20 years. And he's going to help give, Jupiter's there with all this grace and vision and expansion, but Saturn is actually going to give form and structure to our Jupiterian ideals and visions. And so this is exciting time for planning in that area for you, Leo. And then Venus enters Capricorn on January 8th. That is in your 6th house of health and fitness. It's also the house of your daily routine. It's also the house of where you're of service in the world. It can be the house of employees or staff where that's applicable. It can be the house of small pets where that's applicable. Sometimes it's the house of coworkers. So there's a lot of levels in which this house can manifest. But Venus going in there, it can be that you that somehow romance is mixing with that area of your life. It could also be that themes of justice are mixing with that area of your life, or things of art and beauty are coming up in that area of your life. And then, of course, Capricorn always brings a really serious and realistic and pragmatic vibe to the table around those themes as well. Then the new moon of Capricorn is January 12th. And so if you were watching my videos in December, I talked about when Mercury moved into Capricorn, how Mercury Capricorn is the best time to write your business plan for the new year. Well, while Mercury is the best time to do the thinking and the writing and all of that around it, the new moon is when we do the magic. And so new moons are incredibly rich and fertile cosmic soil to plant the seeds of intention that we want to manifest. And in January, the Capricorn new moon is about money and business and our goals, and for you, because it's in the 6th house, it's also a good time to write intentions around health and fitness, your daily routine, where you're of service in the world. And also, if there's anything around small pets or, co-workers or staff, it's a great time to set intentions around those things under the new moon. And do an altar, light candles, have flowers, have pictures of the ancestors. Be mindful and specific about your intentions, because this is a very, very powerful way to manifest. And if you do the new moon ritual every month, by the end of the year, you've activated the entire wheel of your life, you know? So January 14th, Uranus goes direct in the house of career and attainment. And so this could bring a shakeup. This could bring a plot twist in that area of your life at this time. Mars in there is also like, you know, he's been in there since the beginning of the month for you. So their interaction could possibly create a volatile situation. Not necessarily. It could be a very exciting situation too. But it can bring up a shake-up to something that seems very solid and in place. So it's interesting. January 15th, the Mercury pre-shadow period begins. Mercury doesn't go retrograde until the end of the month, but when the pre-shadow begins, you're going to start to see maybe some of the bubble ups of what will become more frustrating and annoying in a more potent way once Mercury's actually retrograde the first 3 weeks of February. But now the shadow begins. And so I encourage you, if you have any important contracts to sign or agreements to make or someone to hire or fire or, surgeries or important events, do it in the first 2 weeks of January, because the second 2 weeks we're in the shadow period. And if it's not realistic to get it done in the first 2 weeks of January, then definitely get it done before January 30th. Because once January 30th hits and Mercury is retrograde, we're going to see plans falling apart. We're going to see, miscommunications. We're going to be seeing things going on with the internet and technological breakdowns and all of that kind of stuff that just makes it incredibly frustrating and annoying to try and do those aforementioned types of things that I said you can plan around. January 17th, Jupiter is square Uranus. This is a very exciting aspect. I talk about it in a lot of detail in my 2021 year overview video. If you haven't watched that video yet, I encourage you to go back and watch it. I do a bird's eye view of 2021. It's one video for all of the signs. And in that video, you can get like a head start on seeing where all the Mercury retrogrades happen, and I talk in a lot of detail about this Jupiter square Uranus aspect, because even though it's forming exact in January, it is an aspect that is going to color the entire year of 2021. It's very exciting. It's associated with iconic cultural moments, but it's also associated with breaking records, exciting, sudden expansion of horizons, sudden unexpected liberation and expansion. Sudden unexpected progress. It's been a big aspect in Black history at certain crucial turning points in terms of, uprisings and rebellions and freedom, but also art and culture and music. So, it's just a really exciting aspect, and it's so much that I could say about it. I could do a whole hour-long video, so I'm really just touching on the key themes that are at the top of my mind right now. But for you, Leo, it's going to be bringing together your house of career and your seventh house of relationships, also the house of business partnerships. So yeah, January 19th, Vesta goes retrograde. That's in your second house of finances and resources. In the November 2020 forecast, I talked about Vesta and Virgo moving into that house for you, and how she would be there for 6 months because of the retrograde period. She's going to be there for a long time, and it's giving you an invitation to explore what are you devoted to, what's sacred to you in that area of your life. And the second house is money and resources, but it's also the house of values and self-esteem. And so it's an opportunity to look at what are you devoted to there? What is sacred to you there, and how are you giving attention and cultivating that? January 19th, the sun enters Aquarius. Again, this is your house of marriage, your house of relationships, your house of, it can be the house of quarrels and lawsuits too, for those who that is applicable for. And if you're going through something like that, call me for a one-on-one reading. But over the month, those themes will be highlighted. Again, you just kicked off a new 20-year era in that house. Mercury moved into that house, bringing a lot of conversation. Pallas Athene moved there last month, bringing a lot of strategy and planning. And so exciting new starts happening there for you. January 26th, Neptune squares the nose. This is a very nebulous, otherworldly aspect. It has to do with the karmic turning point that's happening. It's happening kind of in the ethereal cosmic zone right now. It may not have manifested into your life, even though it's something that will be manifesting for you. And it has to do with the 8th house, which has to do with other people's money. This can have to do with wills, inheritances, alimony, loans, debts. It can also be the house of death, rebirth, regeneration, transformation. And it's bringing together those themes for you with the themes, 11th house themes of groups, organizations, business associates, and friends, but also the house of your creative projects, pleasure, joy, romance. So all of these things. And I don't expect you to know what that is, but it's brewing. January 28th is the full moon of Leo. That's in your first house of self. And there will be illumination for you around your body, your identity, the way that you look at the world, the filter through which you see the world. This will be heightened emotions, very passionate. It could be a dramatic full moon. It will be illuminating in the area of your relationships, in the area of your marriage, of any long-term partnerships you have. And yeah, and it could bring some surprises because it's also squaring off with Mars and Uranus in your 10th house of career and attainment. So there could be surprises and plot twists there as well. And yeah, so January is setting off the themes that we are going to be dealing with for the rest of the year. And then January 30th, Mercury goes retrograde. I talked about that more in the beginning of the video, but this is where, you know, scheduling things start happening, technology things start happening. Maybe the plans fall apart. Maybe there's communication breakdowns. Maybe there's misunderstandings. Maybe the idea seems like it's not going to work. Well, maybe it will once Mercury's direct again, but we do have to go through this frustrating period for the first 3 weeks of February. So that's the end of my January 2021 forecast. If you liked it, give me a like. If you didn't like it, please give me the thumbs down, but I hope you liked it. Please subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Please share this video with other Leos. Please follow me on Instagram at astrology.tarot.Eliane Nicole, where I will continue the conversation we started here, filling in the blanks and filling in greater details. And please, Leo, have a wonderful January. Happy New Year.